So we are going to be reacting to the Star Citizen Live Q&A for the FPS gameplay. And as most of you guys know, FPS is the creme de la creme to me. It's got a special place in my heart. So I wanted to see what they have to say and what they want to do with the future. And a lot of people don't know the future of FPS looks really good in Star Citizen. Let's get right into it.
Hi everybody, welcome to Star Citizen Live Q&A, FPS combat and gameplay. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of the end of our week, invite our developers on, and make them answer a whole bunch of questions. Talk about various aspects of Star Citizen, its continuing development, why this doesn't work, where are you going with this. Basically, most topics are on the table, provided the guests on the show can actually speak to them. That's usually the hardest part. A lot of the questions that people like to ask are great questions, but they're for developers who aren't on the show this week. On the show this week, we have three members who work on various aspects of FPS-related combat and gameplay. Not just combat stuff. It's a lot of focus on combat, but FPS gameplay extends more than that. Yeah. We'll talk about items and tchotchkes and stuff like that. So let's take a few moments to introduce our people who will do their best to answer your question, starting with the person immediately to my right. Luke, tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Where do I look?
You just anywhere.
You look anywhere.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Luke Presley. I am a senior principal designer on the systems design team.
Senior.
Yeah, don't you looking at me?
Just look at him instead of the
Senior
camera.
principal. No. What is senior?
What is senior? Exactly. What's senior principal?
He's well old.
Senior, yeah. I get paid more.
He's part of the furniture at this point.
You have been here. Well, we've been doing this on and off for about 10 years now.
Yeah, 11.
Damn.
Sam, tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Yeah, so I'm Sam. I'm the lead level designer in the UK, and my work is making all
So he designs all the levels we have to run through, like the freaking facilities and things.
the wonderful locations, basically.
And the bad ones, don't.
That's true. Also, the bad ones technically.
And the copy and paste
You're the
ones.
reason I get stuck on Geo or.
Depends.
Okay.
Blame art. Blame art.
Yeah, it's also art as well.
And Zach, tell everybody who you are, what you do.
He does the
and why
weapons
we're gonna
design,
try
right?
really hard not to make this the last show they ever let us do.
Yeah, Rich said, right, you're coming on, no drama, no controversies. I said, I'll try my best.
He's the
He said,
weapon
well, if you do
designer.
that, it's not good enough. But basically, I'm Zach. I do FPS systems. So I've done the player controller. I've done the guns that you interact with, creatures, human FPS AI, and
So he's the one who's making those FPS AI be warping and teleporting and breakdancing. I see who's to blame.
yeah, cool stuff like that.
All right, so the subject of this week's show is FPS combat and gameplay. As we are wont to do sometimes, we put up a thread on Spectrum, asked you all to submit your questions, vote up the ones you wanted to see answered most. During this week, Zach, Luke, and Sam went through, selected the questions that they thought that had the best information to give. I added one or two curveballs. We researched the answers, we ran them by Rich, as he says, just to make sure that we give you the best answer. There's a couple of questions in here that are going to have really long answers. You might notice, you see the pieces of paper.
Damn, they had to write notes.
Some of these questions were very involved, so we wanted to get some notes and make sure we provided the best information possible.
This is the first time I've seen them bring notes to Star Citizen Live.
So, all that said, we're going to start off with this question from Star Citizen Disco Lando. Where's my goddamn Apex Valacar?
Okay, so I'm
Where
not on
is it?
Creatures anymore, but I did ask the people who were on Creatures.
why not?
Oh, not because of anything bad, because it turns out me doing everything is not good for development. So we've got some great new people. We've got
When are the
Creatures team
Apex
now that are
coming?
more focused on it. Don't have to share
Where are
resources.
they?
Basically, working on it, dialing it in. I won't speak for their work. I'll just leave it at that.
Probably shouldn't have started with this question. I just wanted to get it out of the way. Basically, it's one of those things, we've been talking about this thing for so long at this point. I was just having a conversation with the newly minted creature team and whatnot, and it's the expectations on this are now from being first introduced in 2016, from being brought back again. And
I just realized something. What if they add Apex Valacar, and then one day you mesh through the planet, and then you're falling through the planet, and the Apex Valacar is in the planet, and it kills you while you're falling? I don't like the sound of that.
2023,
Yeah.
whatnot. we've come really close to getting it where we want it, but then there's just something that doesn't make it feel right. There's something that doesn't quite make it the apex experience we've been looking for. So they're still working, and I think you spent this amount of time on it. You want to be sure you get it right, or at least have the best chance at getting it right.
Yeah, I do want it to come out
It's
good.
easier to make an FPS boss fight because there's a lot of context that you can refer to and you know it works. Name me a game where you have multiple people in multiple spaceships fighting a humongous worm and how you make that fun and
Exactly.
Air and
thing,
on
and that's
ground.
in an MMO with a huge planet with the servers.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Yeah.
It's no, still working on it. It's just wanting to make sure it's everything we want it to be. Next question. You keep saying you know the med gun is wildly OP. What's the plan for making medics actually relevant in the game long term, as it's a profession slated for 1.0, but is currently entirely useless?
Death of a spaceman.
So, we're aware that the med gun is very strong at the moment. We've commented on it before, and obviously with crafting upcoming, there's going to be lots of balance changes, there's going to be lots of weapon adjustments and things like that.
They're
We're looking
gonna
to address it then.
people. So you're telling me people who want to roleplay medics are trying to make them nerf the med gun? Gang, come on, gang. Maybe nerf it from 200 in the like dose to like 100 or something. Make it less of a dose, because that's so crap, bro. Imagine being a solo player and then you, bro, they can't they can't kill. Don't kill it. You can nerf it and nerf the med gun. I'm not opposed to nerfing the med gun, but don't kill it. Please do not kill it. Make the freaking each dose like smaller. Make it give you more drugs or whatever, so you can't keep spamming it. But don't freaking nerf it to the ground, please.
But more importantly, on the road to 1.0, the medic profession, all of that is slated in to be locked in, get lots
Death
of
of a spaceman,
improvements
though.
on, lots of new features with, and things like that. So medics right now, sure, but medics on the road to 1.0 will get a lot more breadth and depth with the things that they can do.
I'll go into the medic armor in my monologue as well.
Oh yeah, you've got a big long section here coming up. So
Medic
we'll get into
armor.
that. Sam, this question is probably right up your alley. Can you address the lack of level design that facilitates FPS PvP? We're just getting right into the questions here.
Yes.
And remember, they picked the question, so they're not shying away from the tougher topics here. Could you address the lack of level design that facilitates FPS PvP? To explain, even the contested zones separate people. Blue doors, timer, separate people out, making it hard to run into people. All the other places.
What do you talk, bro? Okay, right. Some of the locations are a little bit like segmented, so you don't really have to run into people. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I never run into anybody during FPS gameplay or when I'm doing PvP. When I go to contested zones, we run into people all the time. Like it's always on time. Like it just depends on what you want to do, because you go to the left, you're going to do something specific. You go to the right, you're doing something specific. You go straight ahead, you're doing something specific. So you're only going to run into people. Imagine you run into people who, you're going to a contested zone, you want this item or this key card, and then you keep getting killed by people or someone who's not even going to the same section as you, because the doors are they're trying to funnel you guys into the same place. You guys are running into each other, doing things like killing each other when you don't even have to. That's not fun PvP. It's kind of like lazy, forced PvP. You want PvP to be something like you're running there, two of you are going to the same place, you end up in the same position, and now you're killing each other, because like, if I don't kill him or kill them, they will take what I came for, so I want to get it. Not, oh, I'm in the same place, in the same vicinity as them, so I'm just going to keep killing everybody, even though they don't even want what I want. They don't want the components, they don't want the key cards, they want nothing that I want, so I'm just going to kill them for the banter because we are all funneled into the same place. So that question's a little bit odd.
Places are worse. A lot of places are very linear and choke pointy in their level design, making them not play well for PvE, SC sandbox scenarios. What do you have to say?
It plays perfectly well.
So
in my
a lot of
opinion.
our older locations were built with just a lot less level design resource, essentially. But what we're trying to do now is that, obviously this game is very heavy on PvE. There's always going to be PvP. That's never going to stop.
Yeah.
And we've started building locations basically intended for PvE. And those locations are always going to be more linear. They're always going to be more
Easier
set up
to
for
get,
that.
yeah,
And
point one to be,
when instancing comes online, that's not going to be a problem for everyone else either. You're going to go to a location and you know it's only going to be you, so you're going to enjoy your PvE gameplay.
Instancing is scaring me. Every time they talk about instancing, especially when you hear from so many different like devs, it's scaring me. It's like, yeah, some things should be instancing, especially when it's like narrative gameplay that you want people to enjoy the story. But then some people talk about it like it's going to be almost everything is going to be instance, and it's a little bit worrying because it's like it drives away the rawness of the game. There's a rawness you get with Star Citizen, and when you start instancing everything, it takes away that rawness.
When it comes to PvPVE or PvP locations, with the bigger level design team now, we can actually focus on making sure that there are multiple entrances. The sightlines are actually cared for and ensured that it makes sense for multiple teams coming in from different angles, and that we just make sure that cover placement and all of that sort of stuff is up to scratch, basically.
The LD team's a lot bigger now as well,
Yes.
compared to where it was like 2 years ago.
We've gained 6 people in the last year.
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's inappropriate to say that level design was probably underserved.
Yes.
In previous years of Star Citizen's development. Why that is, variety of reasons, but it's been recognized in the last 12 months, and the rectification is in process. Like you said, it's now is it doubled? It's probably more than doubled at this point.
I think it's about doubled now.
Yeah.
We still got a few more coming, but
Yeah. So we recognized this challenge early on. We recognized we weren't doing enough to support it, and the fix for that is underway. I just saw a review of Starkitect locations on Tuesday, and you could see right away. I'm like, oh, these immediately look different than the stuff. Not just with the visual stuff. I'm talking about the layout, with the amount of cover points, with the amount of
new layouts.
Interior, exterior, combined, cover spaces where you're half inside, half outside. Lots of
that
moving in,
sounds
moving out.
different.
The big towers, to make snipers incredibly deadly and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Sniper
there's a lot more
towers.
effort. There's a lot more effort going in, and I think
full org movements where you're like, okay, we got 2 snipers covering the area, we got people in the skies, we got people at these points. That's gonna be all legit.
the stuff we have coming down the pipe, Rockcracker, and then going forward, the new Siege of Wars and the municipal works are going to benefit from that renewed focus on level design.
Same as the Starkitect stuff as well in the future.
There's always going to be a gadgets question. Any progress on gadgets like trip sensors, scanners, remote detonated charges, and so on?
So I've
Claymores.
got an answer, and it has the word Squadron 42 in, so I'm going to read it off the page. Currently, we have the deployable shield, breaching charge, and some other bits in Squadron 42.
Yo, this dude just said portable shields and freaking charges. Yo, deployable shields? So you're telling me I can just deploy a shield like in Halo, and we got breaching charges? It's about to be freaking fire.
Do plan on shipping that in the PU in the future. We also have an area denial grenade coming this year as well. We plan to add more gadgets in the future.
Yo, we need anti-gravity grenades. We need an anti-gravity grenade. You throw a grenade in an area and everyone in that area gets sucked in and put in the air, bro. We need an anti-grav grenade.
And we do like doing some surprise community wants, like the binoculars. Which
We need anti-grav grenades.
Cool. What plans are there to make clothing serve a purpose when an undersuit and armor is better in almost every way?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's never going to be space worthy.
Exactly.
But we are, working on combat clothing, which will have all the damage mitigation. So if you want to imagine a kind of John Wick style suit, that kind of thing. But
they're bringing a combat clothing. Imagine you pull up to a freaking gunfight in a John Wick suit. It would be funny, but I'm like, it's almost pointless when we have so many different armor types and armor styles, man.
Yeah, I think the main problem now is that it's one or the other. You have to wear clothes or you have to wear armor. Yeah. Right? And that's where Star Wars is going to come in and change all that, because the purpose of clothing is cosmetic.
It's dress, it's dress and impress.
So to just go into that in a bit more detail, you'll be able to, with Starwear, have your undersuit on if you want it, and then put certain, jackets over the top, all the jackets, certain trousers, gloves, boots on the top, then armour on the top of that, and then, in future, we're going to have hoods and big overcoats that can go over some of the armours too. So all these layers.
It's like we said at SitCon as well, there will be areas where you can't wear armor, so clothing and all that will have particular usage.
There's going to be areas you can't.
Like locations that prohibit it, and you have to kind of turn things into customs. So.
Now, I was a little bit skeptical about the idea of adding clothes, But if there's going to be missions or contracts where you quite literally have to go through customs and put away all your stuff, you got to put away your armor, your guns, and now the only thing you can wear is your John Wick suit. Okay, you got me there. All I can do is wear my John Wick suit. I have to go inside, kill somebody with a gun, take their gun, and now I have a John Wick suit that mitigates damage. Yeah, you got me there. You got me there. Okay, I accept that.
So you wearing your, I mean, I don't think we're going to ever block an undersuit in that scenario, but it's probably more useful to wear the kind of combat clothing we were talking about.
There's never been an MMO where cosmetics isn't the end game.
Definitely.
Exactly. A couple of people in chat were right away. Fashion Citizen is endgame.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone said, "Is Zach showing?"
That's
off
exactly what
Star
it
Wars?"
is. Fashion Citizen is.
A very early iteration. No, but it cannot be overstated. I'm really glad you brought that up. We've Chris, other people have mentioned for years that this idea of wanting to facilitate the wearing of clothing as opposed to armor. He hates that everybody wears armor everywhere.
All
so
the
this
time,
will always
yeah.
be kind of a goal at some point to go to. When I first saw the outfit scanners that were part of a Stormbreaker, the ones where
Yeah.
it forced you to
You know a good way they could do it though? A good way they can make sure people don't wear armor all the time. When they bring in like Terra and all these other systems where it's going to be higher security, when you land, you won't be allowed past a certain point, past the hangars, if you have a full set of armor on. So the thing about going through customs, like if you're in Terra, this is a top tier military system that's super, super policed. You can't pass this point with armor on, and now that means every time you go there, you got to take your armor off and wear your space clothing, or you wear your space combat clothing. That would make sense. I feel like I would be rocking with that.
to change into the scientist outfit in order to open the door. Like I was really excited about what that means for the future. You know, forcing people to switch into outfits as opposed to armors in order to infiltrate something. The gameplay options
Hitman,
there,
bro.
were really exciting. As like this. So yeah, it's combat clothing is a bit interesting though. I heard the term and I didn't realize you're not full on John Wick kind of thing.
Wait, not bulletproof.
Yeah.
No, but
Mitigation.
some decent mitigation. Not to the point of being
We're
better than light.
There's 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah,
It's going to be
better
going to be clothing
Kevlar.
that's a little better than what it is today anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. No, that all makes sense.
I'm going to ask one more question before we go to Luke and his treatise here. Are there plans to add spatialization for sound in FPS? I think sound plays a major role in combat, but currently we can't locate our enemies or tell if they're wearing heavy or light armor.
Yes, I think this one was for me, but was it for me or was
No,
it
it's
for
for
you?
me.
I
It's for
think
you.
Oh, that's one for
they
I can hear enough. I can't tell what armor they're hearing, but I do hear footsteps though. Like, is that just me? Am I just tweaking? Am I just like going through my FPS brings? I think I do hear footsteps.
There you go. Well, that's why I don't have it written
So
down.
I'm just going to talk for hours.
Go on, perfect.
Yeah, I've talked to the audio team, and they're really keen on enjoying this armory factor, reworking what we've got so far. So that if you're wearing a heavy suit, you actually sound extremely heavy. But like beyond that, they really want to have the wearer feel that they're in a heavy, suit.
I
So
already
if you're
feel
wearing
like that.
massive radiation suit, you'll feel isolated. Like everything will be muffled around you as well.
Has anyone else realized that that's already in the game? No. What you just said there's already in the game. Because sometimes, right, if you take off your helmet, you hear everything differently. When you put your helmet on, you hear everything differently. I think there's a level of that in the game already.
Generated this big list of audio I want to hear specifically on, like the stealth suit that we're going to be having. Like that wants to be the quietest sounding.
Quietest sounding suit ever.
No matter what like emissions it gives out and all that stuff under the hood, if you can hear your feet squeaking against the floor
It
if you
doesn't
run,
matter.
sneak up behind
You're
someone,
not stealthy.
that's really off-putting. So yeah, like it's really important to nail all that.
It's also worth pointing out that footsteps have gone for a big iteration in Squadron as well, in terms of like when you sprint in SC right now, it's, you know, you get essentially you have the heel down and the foot forward making a noise, but now it's just one foot plan. It's also reading the context of the environment as well. So if you're on like railings, it will make railing noises and things like that. So we've gone from like a generic footstep noise to an environmental context noise.
That is weird. I've always thought the like environmental footsteps and things sounded okay. It wasn't high tier, but it was okay where it's like, oh, okay, I'm on a metal surface, I'm on a rocky surface, I'm on a snowy surface, a wet surface. I felt like it was okay. So the fact that they're going even further is pretty nice. That's actually a really, really nice touch to it, you know?
When weapons like the pulverizer have a slowdown effect from having them equipped on the back, are there plans to give them weapon inertia as well, as in they handle slower than other weapons?
So just to start off that, they don't have a slowdown effect. They just weigh a lot, and depending.
Whoa. Did someone just ask for another nerf to the pulverizer? Can you guys stop? Stop.
On how much weight you have on your character moves slower.
Slower, yeah.
So we don't do like, oh, this gives you a 20% movement speed debuff just because you have this weapon on. It's systemic. There's weight. The more weight you have, the more you slow down. But yeah, go on with the weapon inertia. Do you want to handle it? Because I can.
The thing is, I thought this had come last, so I thought I'd have done my spiel on.
So one thing we're talking about with the armor work is essentially having it so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the heavier the weapon is, the more weapon inertia you get. So if you've got heavier arms, it's easier to handle heavier weapons. So if you're wearing like light arms and you have an LMG, you'll essentially have a lot more weapon sway. Think with the Fresnel, how long that takes to correct the sight picture. That's an example of something that, you know, if you had light and you picked up heavy, it's a way of saying, cool, you want to fit in the archetype, that fantasy.
Right. So basically, if you have heavy armor, your best bet is to take a heavy gun. Or if you take a light gun, you'll have faster usage of that gun because you have the extra, you know, we have like the freaking pistons and things on your armor. It'll help you stabilize things better. So a light gun with a heavy armor set might be OP then, if that's what you're saying, because it'll be less inertia because you're wearing something that's going to be able to mitigate all that inertia completely.
Being like, oh, I'm a super heavy armor wearing, I've got my LMG, I'm walking in a location, versus like, oh, I'm light and I've got a pistol. Because as you know, in real life, the shorter the barrel of a weapon is, the lighter it is, the easier it is to move around. Like I was talking to Luke about this, and the reason why pirates always have short swords is because if they're on boats and they're killing people close, that's why they have short swords. That's why people clear runes with like pistols and SMGs and things like that.
All right, we're going to get to your question. Since it sets up, I want to preface this. This is actually 3 questions.
Yeah, it is 3 questions I'm answering here.
It is 3 questions. So you got your notes, right?
Yeah.
All right.
What's the question?
So, I want to show you. Can you see this? This is the notes for this next question.
My goodness.
This is all one question here. It goes on to the next page. It's all more question. Yeah. It's that much. You wrote that much, Luke. So
hey, we're bringing content. You know what I mean?
So at this point, I'm going to ask these questions, and then Sam, Zach, and I are going to go get a beer.
Can you get me one?
Okay. All right. No. So these are 3 questions. 3 questions that all have one combined answer. Question 1. How will the upcoming armor rework make it so armor choice is more diverse?
Right. Okay.
Question 2. What benefits are planned for players who wear light and medium armor in PvP and high-end PvE environments versus heavy armor? Currently, the movement bonus obviously doesn't typically offset the damage reduction of heavy armor. And question 3.
In very high intense PvE situations, I feel like the movement does a lot more than people think. Because when you're slow, you think you're around a corner. You're not around a corner, your leg's still sticking out.
What's the progress on armor functionality? Armor roles like tank, recon, heavy scanning, stuff like that. All right. You ready?
I am.
You ready? All right. We should
be a big one.
We don't have like a single camera for Luke, do we? Oh, we do. There we go. Excellent.
Which one is it? There we go. Okay. So progress is going great.
Finished.
That's it. It's something I'm actively working on, and we've had multiple reviews to decide which stats I'm actually going to be able to play with. Because one thing we don't want to do is ruin the game, like make it unbearable.
Yeah.
You know, by just making things worse. So there's lots of things we're doing to like improve things as well.
It's so hard. It's so hard for me
Well, you
not
look
to say
so
something.
skeptical.
I'm going to bed.
I had something so snarky I wanted to say right there, but you
Okay.
go ahead. You mean?
Like design-wise, I think we're like 90% there. I've just got to
90%.
pitch some of the non-systemic perks, the perks you get for wearing a full suit of armor and stuff. Because we've got most of our the perks are actually quite systemic. So the stealth suit, actually each piece like blocks the emissions of your body and stuff. So like you have to have a full thing, and then suddenly you're stealthy. But the perks where you have to make something up, I don't know. I'll give like being able to.
Well, it's if you, like, let's say if you have a full stealth suit, right? You might get like a massive bonus to hiding your emissions.
Yeah.
Like as an example, something that makes sense within the context of the armor.
Something that's more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's the more gimmicky things I'll say that I don't really want to go into it because I'm not pitch them. But right. So our main aims with the armory factor are to give players reason to wear flight suits, light, medium, and heavy armors. Give players reasons to wear the combat versus utility armors, because that's been a big distinction there. The two of those. To give players a reason to change armors based on their intent, and that's for specialization.
That is something that I have felt like is missing in Star Citizen, because for me personally, I do so many different types of game loops, and I just wear the same armor for everything. I'm wearing a heavy armor set, and I use it for everything. If I'm mining, if I'm doing bunkers, if I'm doing onyx, if I'm dogfighting, if I'm doing, no matter what I'm doing, I just wear the same armor. Like, imagine I had to dogfight and I just had to wear a flight suit because it would help me with all the G's. I do it with my heavy set anyway, So giving me some clear distinctions to why I should change my armor, that's definitely needed.
We were talking about in SitCon 2 years ago, and then give individual armor pieces a purpose, so that arms aren't just useless cosmetics and stuff. Each piece of the armor has stats with it that you don't get with the others. So for me, and I think for you as well, the most important things is nailing those weight classes.
Yeah,
the feel of those weight classes.
It's very much so. Like last time I heard, it's about the legs, and you get mass reduction, right? So if you have heavy legs on, then your overall mass gets reduced because it's easier to walk and things like that. So it's like you don't just become instantly a tank because you've got the thing on. It's like, cool, I've got these legs. I don't want to be weighed down too much. I want to be able to move faster, still with my heavy, but that'll have other offsets, obviously.
Almost like a exo suit.
Yeah,
an
exactly.
exo suit.
It's just the support that it gives. Right now, we have this funny situation where if you were wearing entirely heavy armor, you had a full backpack on, all the attachments, and then you took your leg armor off,
you can go
and
faster.
You just had naked legs.
You move faster.
I mean, in real life, you'd crumple under that weight.
Yeah, exactly,
but
bro.
in the game now, you are faster because you weigh less.
Yeah.
And that's obviously something we want to get rid of.
Exactly.
So if we focus in on that, the way we're going to make lights versus mediums versus heavies and flight suits, very different, and actually a choice you make is there's damage mitigation. We're going to up the damage mitigation on mediums and heavies to give you a higher TTK.
Beyond where they are right now.
Beyond where they are now, yeah.
Which gets obviously offset with crafting and the improvements that come with weapons. So.
Yeah, so me and Deck, who was on crafting, are in this interesting situation where obviously you only have between 0 and 100 to play with, and we're having to meter out and share the percentages we can go up. Yeah. So I can go up to this, and then crafting will take you up to this. Okay. So yeah, that's an interesting thing to have to take into account.
You build better weapons, and you have to be able to build better armors.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. It's a constant arms race. Yeah, the combat crosshair, which is it's going to primarily be on combat suits and helmets. So not everyone is getting that anymore. Yeah. Which is kind of the way it's done.
Well, I thought there's lots of helmets I put on and I don't get the combat crosshair, so I already thought that was a thing.
Right now, until we figured out, flip the page. The ability to have your MFDs cast to the visor, which I think everyone has right now when they sit in the ship, that's going to be for flight-specific helmets. And ship handling as well.
Wait, so you won't be able to see your MFDs because it's not a fly helmet? So you need to have an actual fly helmet? So I have to have a flight helmet in my backpack at all times?
Be
Yeah.
impacted by wearing medium or heavy armors. So that means that your inputs are slower. So if you make a hard turn, it will take it slower if you've got medium and heavy armor on.
G-force resistance.
And G-force as well will be lower in those suits, so you'll pass out quicker. We're also increasing the G-force tolerance in things like the combat and racing flight suits, so it's not all just a negative.
Nah, this is crazy.
FPS radar, when that comes, that's going to make a huge difference.
Bro. So they're gonna mix. I'm already passing out quickly in my heavy set. You're telling me I'm gonna pass out even quicker now? So when I'm trying to do some crazy things, I need to get myself a flight suit? Ah, hell nah. That's gonna, suit locks is better working because if I'm going out in my ship that can do multiple things, like I have a multi-purpose ship, I want to be able to have my flight suit in there. So for when I'm flying, I can switch into my flight suit. I want to also be able to have my armor. So if I'm my heavy armor, so if I'm going into a bunker or something, I can just switch into my heavy. I want to be able to take a loadout with me. I've got a ship that's got a freaking suit locker. I need to be able to use that thing because if you want to do all of this to me, I need to be able to have multiple suits ready to go on the fly.
The weight classes for a start, because bigger things, they're noisier. You'll hear them on your passive radar.
A good example is combat helmets are seen as the default right now because they're the main archetype that we have online, but that will make more noises and emissions. So you'll get less feedback, but then you'll obviously be quiet and less picked up by radar and scanning and things like that.
Yeah, if you wear light, like you'll all have the same strength radar, but being light gives you the ability to get so many meters closer before you're picked up.
Before you see them, yeah. But see,
and
everyone always talks about combat radar, and it's like, I've always played games without combat radar. Like growing up, if you think about like in Call of Duty, whatnot, you have to get a certain amount of kills before you get combat radar. Adding combat radar is going to make it a lot easier for people who are used to that. I'm used to playing in the dark. I can play in the dark. I don't need a radar to tell me where you are. I listen to gunshots, I listen to sounds, I listen to footsteps. Having combat radar with that knowledge already, people are gonna be pissed. People are gonna be pissed when better players are gonna utilize that and destroy them in PvP. Because that's how we're playing right now. Right now I only play with sound. Like I'm trying to hear people, you feel me? Like people are gonna get cooked.
Yeah, and we keep alluding to this, but I'd say the most important feature is the mass mitigation. And that affects the weight affecting the player. Like you weigh more, obviously, the whole thing together weighs more, but if you have like heavy arms and then a heavy core and heavy legs, and then you've got a railgun in your arms, right? That'll be fully supported, no added weight to the player.
Yeah.
But then if you start taking pieces off or making them like a lesser
Medium.
weight,
It's gonna be really hard
that
for you to
will
move.
start, like the percentage that those arms can take
Goes down.
will get less and less. Like, if you
Because
take your
it's
legs
got up
off,
your whole unit. Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter what your arms can lift because your
chest
body's, your legs
can,
are still
yeah.
taking the weight of that thing completely.
I really like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. That right there. That sounds nice. I ain't gonna lie.
It's very nitty gritty, this obviously, but we still do have like high level archetypes as well. So like things like, having like medic armor and things like that are still,
This is weight class.
this is in the weeds, but we also do have the high level ideas of like, different combat armors, like we have the scanning armor and things like that. What is it called? The hunter armor? Hunter armor and things like that, which obviously we're like way better at scanning and things like that. So there's some like very high level, easy to understand stuff, and then you have this stuff which is down
Just
in
the
like the
basic.
nitty gritty weeds of it.
Yeah. Like
Reducing the amount of times you're going to see somebody in a hospital gown carrying around a railgun.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you want to be able to keep a railgun up and on your shoulder and use it,
You
you're
gotta
gonna
get heavy armor.
to actually increase the mass of your armor in order to
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 support
have
it.
that
Benefit.
the support system to you, so make it possible for you to carry it.
Yeah. And finally, this is finally on
This
this
is
point.
not finally, by the way.
No.
You have "and finally" written in here 3 times.
Yep.
Luke, this is not "and finally."
This is
Not and finally.
And finally on the weight class, right? Because this is what we're talking about. Weight classes, they span all of these archetypes and that. Like, you can have a heavy medic maybe.
A heavy medic.
Yeah, so EVA. Controversial maybe. EVA will be removed from undersuits as it is now. so everybody having it, and put on some but not all flight suits and cores. And we'll be introducing an EVA backpack for those who don't have EVA built into the suit. Or
you have to use an EVA
built
backpack
into your suit, and you just want more fuel and more oxygen. You can also put that on as well.
It's a lot of.
Wait, so EVA is going to use the oxygen of your suit to... Yo, that's going to be crazy. So the longer you EVA, the less oxygen your suit has is going to be wild. Because I'd be out there sometimes for 30 goddamn minutes.
You're basically adding a whole lot of choice. Basically, a whole lot of tactical decisions between what you wear. It's not just going to be about rule of cool. It's you have to understand the situation that you're going into.
This is starting to sound real nice
for that situation. Not just bringing the right weapons, but
the right armor as well.
When the time comes.
If you know you're going into like fight that you're Mondi, you might want to bring people with like more medic suits, for example, because you know you're gonna have to heal each other more and things like that.
Of course, if you don't have EVA, you can just bring your fire extinguisher, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And final, no.
Don't touch the fire extinguisher.
So that's weight classes. There's a difference between combat and utility, that's a big difference. And that's mainly down to the mass mitigation, which you'll have more of on the utility. That will mean that combat armors are lighter to start with, right? But the moment you start loading them up, they get slower. Whereas utility armors start heavier, and then the more you load them up, the more they can take. So you kind of keep the speed you're running at with those.
You don't lose
Whereas
speed.
if you streamline yourself in combat, you'll always be faster.
Speed.
And also...
I assume there's different types of utility armor then.
Yeah, there's loads. Yeah. Which I will jump to now then. Right. Flight suits. We've got racing flight suits.
Right.
Amazing
Combat.
G-force resistance. Really good environmental resistances. So, if you're racing in a car on all kinds of planets, you'll be fine.
And I hear that's the flight suits getting their G-force resistance is not necessarily a far away thing.
No, I think Yogi's working on it very soon.
Oh, so that's coming in soon.
Yeah, but they have no radar. They're like super stripped down, no EVA, and really poor damage mitigation because they're basically just kind of levers. Combat flight suits, which do have EVA, they have better damage mitigation, bigger inventory, but slightly reduced G-force and poor environmental resistances because they're made for space, right? Then you've got the combat armors. You've got the assault armors, which make up the majority of our armors right now.
Is assault, yeah.
If you want to put new stuff out, you've got to have a crosshair at the minute, otherwise it doesn't feel as impactful. But obviously that'll be revisited when we get more archetypes in.
Yeah, it's definitely our biggest section of armors we currently have.
I feel like if they get all of this in this year, this is gonna change the whole FPS experience. I don't care. I do not care.
And these are the pure combat armors. We've got the best at absorbing damage, good radar for finding humans, and but they'll lack EVA.
Yeah.
So you have to use an EVA backpack with combat armor.
A mission of kind of IR and EM.
Oh yeah.
But
if you're taking away the EVA probabilities, right? As long as I can still use a fire extinguisher and I can still tether myself to things with my tractor beam, it might be okay.
Resource. They do not have resources, so you're not going to be finding minables with those. Stealth armors, again, we've talked about. They reduced emissions and sounds. What are you reading the red pen?
I haven't seen how much is left.
No, just that. The hunter armors we've talked about is the only combat armor to have EVA, and it has an amazing radar for finding people. They'll see you coming more though, and it has less damage mitigation. Utility armors. Right, I'm going to actually breeze through
The hunter
these
armor
because
sounds very, very nice. It's intriguing, like a hunter armor. Are they going to actually add, like, I feel like it's going to be something bounty hunters have to use. You have to use it for bounty hunting if you're bounty hunting in a building or something. But they have to have more scenarios where you're going to bounty hunt either players or whatever, and you have to go into buildings, and it's not just bunkers.
It's been too long, actually. Right, medical can scan health. So when you do a scan, it will show you the health of people around you and various other things, and it can locate downed players from much further away.
Okay, right.
Specifically, that's its thing.
So if you have medic armor.
Yeah, so if you do a scan, you're going to pick up the down players
things
that
you know where to go.
you wouldn't normally pick up just by IR and EM. Yeah, there's engineers, and they can reveal the positions and health of components.
Okay, engineering armor. Okay,
No, just this one.
that's not bad.
And resource specialists, these are like the salvagers and miners. We have an amazing resource radar. And hopefully we'll reveal details about minables that you would otherwise have to go up to and scan, like from a distance.
Okay, so you can do
so
minables
you can be on the
too.
surface or whatever, scan, send your ping out and see the things. You don't have to go to it to find out.
I'd say it's more for being in caves,
In
where
caves, right,
there's
I was
that
thinking
kind of
that.
distance. It's still a distance to go.
Yeah, I was thinking caves.
You know, if you scan and then focus on a rock that is like 50 meters away, you might get some more information than the otherwise.
And the thing is, like, think about caves. There's like different caverns and things. So if you can scan and it's like, okay, oh, that whole cavern there is freaking aphrite. I'm not going in there, but this one is hadonite. I'm gonna go in here. That makes sense because sometimes you have to go check both sides to find what every single rock is. But if you can do that from afar, even 50 meters to maybe 100 meters, I feel like that's awesome.
You would have
running
to.
over to it.
Yeah. Then you've got the Explorer, which is like the jack of all trades. It's got kind of good utility. It's got the crosshair. It's got good environmental resistances, and it can scan resources.
The jack of all trades.
You know, its damage resistance is fine, but it's not a combat armor.
The jack of all trades might
And
be.
then you've got all the other kind of very specialist things. You've got EVA, heat, cold, and radiation.
Radiation things.
And
yeah.
they hopefully speak for themselves.
Thank you
Not
for everyone
bad.
who's still here.
Not
No, I
bad.
really
Yeah.
Armor
appreciate
choice is a
this, Luke.
big thing.
It's a huge spreadsheet. It took me forever.
Yeah. Obviously, we've been talking about some aspects of what you've been talking about, which you just talked about. We've been talking about for 2 years now.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want to give like a general progress? And I'm not saying a when. Don't answer a when question.
Like I say, I think like 90% of it's done, and maybe even more.
So we
you know,
could
I've got
be
a few
seeing it
more
this
things
year.
to clear when it comes to those perks. You know, the things that make
It's
them
sounding
stand
good.
out, and again, a little gimmicky, right? All this that I've talked about is
Pretty much.
signed off, right?
Armor rework and new armors 2020-26. Yup.
Once I've got those perks sorted, it's just off to code to do estimates, and then we see where it fits.
Yup, it sounds like it might
So
be coming this
still
year,
in the
gang.
design phase.
Still in the design phase. I've run this all by code, and they like have ballparked it, but
Okay.
From my gameplay perspective, I'm gonna need EVA gear, Explorer gear, and combat gear. I feel like those are the three I need to have in like suit lockers. Is 3 different sets of each one of those gears, because at the end of the day, those are the main things I do. Most of the time, I'm exploring, doing stupid stuff, and then if I'm not exploring, I'm doing combat. And then apart from that, I'm always in space, flying around because I'm doing something dumb. So like, I feel like, but I think the Explorer gear gives you EVA as well. So if I have the Explorer gear and my combat gear, I think I'm good. I think I'm actually good.
How has the new focus on dungeon-style content, we call them operations, but the question says dungeon-style content, changed design goals for FPS gameplay?
So the quick answer is they haven't really. We've changed what content we are trying to make currently, because before we started making the dungeons, we didn't really have any. And we've been taking a lot of time to try and start constructing these more defined locations where we want to take players through an experience. But that doesn't mean that we're going to stop making any of the other sort of more contested zones, PvP oriented areas. That's still very much a thing that we're focused on. It's just we're trying to counteract the amount of content that is just general outposts versus defined experiences.
Yeah. I feel like, look, we're making an immersive MMO here. We need some defined experiences. You can't just have everything to be like, I know I'm a lover and I'm always championing, oh, we need to have things where it's just emergent and you can go out and do whatever you want. But to make a game, you need a story, you need experiences that players can play through, and you want to have good experiences that players want to play through again because they might have missed something. And to do that, you need to have these tailored experiences. So yes, no matter how much you like just having these contested zones or all these other things where there's no real like crazy narrative behind it, it's just something you can do, we definitely need some more just toned down, encapsulated pieces of content where it's like there's a story we're trying to tell here and we're giving it to you and we intend you to play it like this, you know?
We want to basically go from where previously we made locations to show off features to just making locations that make use of features, or just cool locations. Because I wanted to make a big ring station that you can ride a gondola around, so I did it, and that's coming out this month.
Let's talk a little bit about Rockcracker. It's a little off the topic here. But, folks who are in PTU, are seeing that there's essentially at this moment there are 3 kind of different versions of these breaker stations.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3 versions.
There's ones that don't currently have a rock in them, and those will be for a variety of sandbox missions that actually come online about 2 weeks after 4.7 releases.
Okay.
So 4.7 will release hopefully towards the end of this month.
Ooh, that's
and
interesting.
then about 2 weeks later there'll be another content drop that releases an entirely new suite of mission content that will utilize these third versions of breaker stations. I realize I'm starting on 3.
Yeah.
But then there are 2 versions of the breaker stations that have these giant, enormous rocks in the center, and one is
PvE,
more like
PvP?
a contested zone kind of thing. It's like players have seen with Line of Mine and Stormbreaker and stuff. It is, you get the mission and everybody has these locations. They're on your star maps. You go and
what happens
The
happens.
contested ones aren't on your star maps.
Contested ones aren't on the star maps.
No. So the way they work is that we have multiple instances, basically. Not instances
Yeah,
in,
you can't use that word yet.
not instances in actual instance, but a version of the mission that's at a location. And so basically 5 groups of players can go to each one at a time.
Oh,
And we have
so it's wait. That just changes the freaking flow of things. So only 5 different groups of players can go at one time. Imagine your group is just like a regular, nonchalant group of guys or girls, and the other 4 teams are just murder hobo fanatics. You're cooked. Or imagine you guys there's 4 groups of like regular people, and your group is just murder hobos. I know what group is gonna win. We all know what group is. The murder hobos are gonna win, bro. Imagine you pull up and you're fighting like huge orgs, and you guys are just 4 or 5 regular players who decided to band together, and you're fighting a whole freaking org who's ready for warfare. Oh, that would suck. That would suck. Nah, if you're a PvE player, don't even do it. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
multiple locations that they can go
So
to.
5
And the expectation
groups.
is that you should be taken to one where someone else is, and you should fight for the stuff, basically.
So that's a bit more chaos in those
Yes.
ones. A bit more of that
It's for people
I know
who
what I
want
wanna do.
to do PvP.
I know what I
and
wanna
who
do.
don't want to spend the high price of entry for the exclusive ones.
And that brings us to the third one, which are these exclusive ones.
Yes.
These ones are also not available on the star map. You have to earn the right to purchase the locations to these versions of the breaker stations, and those allow for only the people you share them with have it. So a true PvE experience
Right.
At these places. So it's an
And see, that's the thing. That's why I don't get why people are so mad about how much it costs. Because I'm pretty sure it's like 4 or 5 people can go with you, right? And it's like, it costs 800,000. If everyone drops in like 250K, you will have the money. 250K is super easy to make. You can all literally go to your planet side. Like, let's say you're in area 18, right? You can literally all start at area 18, grab all the freaking planetary missions, right? All of you grab your missions, every single one of you, and then you literally load it onto the same ship. And by the time you deliver all your missions, each and every single one of you would have made 250K. And it could take you 5 minutes to do that. And then you all send that money to one person who then buys into the mission and shares it with the rest of you. So the money issue that people are complaining about and saying that regular players who don't cheat won't be able to have 1 million to just spare like that. It's like, that's cap, gang. Just play the game. People just want to do everything. They don't want to play the game. Play the game. If you play the game, it opens up the doors for you to do whatever you want in the game. Just play the game. Stop crying.
Of what we were doing last year and learning the
Yes.
lessons we learned last year, and always trying something new and stuff like that. So these 3 different versions of these breaker stations that are
gives
that are
people
coming in
options with
4.7
how
are
they
pretty
wanna
exciting.
go through it,
And,
you know? I like that.
always trying something new. It's
No, but this is really good. I do
with the
believe this is
ASD,
really good.
or with the Onyx facilities, we dropped We dropped roughly 600 of them, across planets.
There's so
always
much
trying
on
different things to
facilities.
see how to give something for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We basically wanted to make sure that people who only want PvE should be able to get
get
that.
PvE,
and people
exactly.
who want to fight for stuff
Can fight for
stuff
stuff.
if they so desire.
Yeah.
Now, the
I
flip
like
side
that.
of that is that there won't always be a PvE version available.
Not always, but we've placed a decent amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and those are kind of things we'll continue to tune throughout PTU and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it will continue to evolve as the game goes on.
The rewards also.
But you know the funniest thing is I do believe a lot of people will opt in for the PvP version. I honestly feel like a lot of people opt in because it's a little bit more exciting. I feel like if you're playing a game and you don't want that excitement, because think about it, you do the PvE version 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. You make the money, nothing goes on, you're killing NPCs, you make the money, now you know what to expect. Now there's no more edge to it. There's no edge to that gameplay anymore because you know exactly what to expect. And suddenly, after a while, after your 20th time, it starts to become a drag and you're just doing the rounds, you turn your brain off, and now you're in zombie mode. But when you're in there with other people pulling up and trying to shoot you, you got to be awake. You got to think about it. You got to strategize, talk to your team. You got to do all these other things, and it makes it more alive, And that's well, look, that's just how I feel about it, I feel like having some PvP elements is always a nice thing, and just PvP. And thing is, people like to combine PvP and griefing together, and then that's why most people hate PvP because they think PvP is griefing. No. PvP is not griefing. PvP means I am doing something to another player because I'm getting an actual gain from it. Not I'm doing it just to piss and ruin you, just ruin your day. I just want to piss in your cornflakes. I'm only doing that to piss you off. That's griefing.
So got better. I improved them today.
This question,
Is this the doozy?
well, I don't know what you think is a doozy,
Yeah.
Okay.
but this question has come up
Okay.
on and off every year since it was first introduced as a concept back in 2013 when Shroud of the Avatar came online.
All right.
2013, 2014, I can't remember. Back with Richard Gary and Portalarium and stuff.
Too long.
This question is simply, how is the crossbow coming along?
Okay, so this was the first year that I got to basically plan out all the weapons, and the first one on the list, obviously, that always gets mentioned is the crossbow. So I can confirm that the crossbow is coming this year. The main reason I think that we got that crossbow was because Rich is an original Shroud of the Avatar backer, so he is very interested in getting his skin. So yes, crossbow this year. But I also want to tease some other.
So all of you guys who wants the crossbow, it's coming out this year. Is it going to be an energy crossbow? Like, what is it going to be? Is it an energy crossbow or just like an actual compound crossbow? Like, what is it actually going to be? This is my first time actually hearing about the crossbow. I ain't going to lie to you guys.
I want to go over.
Before we move off the crossbow,
Go on.
it's not just going to be available to the folks who pledge for whatever level of Shroud of the Avatar. There are versions of it going
Yes.
into loot for everybody.
Believe they
there's gonna
get
be-
a specific skin.
Yes.
If they
Okay,
were
right.
Shroud of the Avatar
Yes,
backer.
but the
So-
crossbow weapon
It's just
is
coming
going
into
to be
game.
made available to everybody
Everyone in the
who
game.
plays Star Citizen
Okay.
today,
Woo!
either
So you just
through
wanna
loot
shoot me with a
or
ballistic
through a
crossbow?
bundle or whatever, or if you did pledge at those specific Shroud of the Avatar levels that specific skin, and the process of how you claim those will be made available to you when it comes time to add it to the game.
Dear Chris Roberts, if you're adding a crossbow to Star Citizen, please allow me to be a hunter. I want to be able to go out, hunt some Copion, hunt some Valakar, hunt some quasi-grazers, and any creatures you add into the verse later in life. But I also want to be able to skin them, cook their meat, and be able to make recipes in the kitchen. And when I do this, and when I cook their meat to make food, use their skin to add skins to my armor that I craft, and apply different textures to my armor, or make furniture with their skins, then it would make a crossbow make sense. Like, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
So calling the new guns, there is one with space blanking, like we said, space aka.
Are you just gonna move on to other new weapons?
Space blanket?
Crossbow's a crossbow.
No, talk us about
Yeah, so there's space blank, which is space kind of based on a real gun sort of thing. That
Wait,
people,
space based on a real gun and space blank. What's gonna come? Wait. What real guns? Space Thompson? Nah, Thompson is too old. What is a real gun that's like really popular?
people really like. We got loads of people like the space AK. We've got a lever action rifle.
Okay.
We've got
Ooh.
You're
A
adding
lever
more
action
space
rifle.
versions of existing weapons.
yes.
Okay, so like you did with the Space AK.
Correct.
There's going to be a space
Space.
something or other.
Yeah.
We don't want to
Something.
reveal right now.
No,
but
no, because it's very cool and it's something that people mention a lot, and I think it's it's fun to find out. But just little tease.
like Space Godzilla.
yeah, Space Godzilla, exactly, or Mecha Godzilla.
A real thing.
Space Godzilla is not a real thing.
Medgun.
Okay, no. It's not a real thing in the real world. It's a real thing in the MonsterVerse. Space Godzilla is coming. I think we're gonna get a Space Godzilla movie in the next 6 years. In the next 6 years, we're getting a Space Godzilla movie.
Pistol. I'm very excited.
Sorry.
Medgun pistol.
A medgun
we
pistol.
have a bullpup rifle.
Space Henry
Glossing over
rifle.
this stuff. This is a med gun that
I want to leave it at that. I want to say
Wait,
the name of it.
it's a med gun that you can shoot like a pistol and the bullet heals people? Is it a healing dart?
And then as it comes out, you'll see like, okay,
all right. So you're being intentionally obtuse.
yeah,
So it's a
basically.
Send your
space
letters
You've
to
met me.
Zach
med
Priest,
gun pistol.
of 6 Manchester Goods Yard.
Yeah.
All right. So med gun pistol.
Medgun pistol, bullpup rifle, lever action rifle, and some more
Space
cool stuff later on as well. So that's some cool stuff that's coming this year. And well,
Ashley
sorry, let me be clear. Our intention is that those things come this year.
Attention.
And yeah, there's some other stuff. That's not just it. Like we also spoke about, we've said, we want an area denial grenade. We know that gadgets and utility are big requests and things like that. But
Yeah,
those are the
grenades
things
are
that
a
I want
big
to tease
thing.
now. There's more than that, as we delivered a lot of weapons last year. We want to also deliver a lot of weapon content this year as well.
Like you just casually dropped, there's going to be a lever action.
Yeah,
A 30th century
freaking
lever
sniper.
action. Right.
Oh,
Well,
it's
rifle.
the plan is that it's gonna have evolving geo as well.
Evolving
You switch
levers?
to fire modes and stuff like that. So
What?
leaning into like taking it and making it really cool and sci-fi.
And your intention is for this to come.
50 cal.
All these ones that you mentioned. Intention.
Intention,
We all know how game
Yeah, yeah.
development works, but the intention is for all these to arrive
To
this
come
year.
this year.
yes.
Damn,
And
we're getting,
some-
bro, we just got a whole new array of freaking guns and we're getting another set? Yikes. I haven't even used all of them. I think I've used all of them except for the pistol. I've had the pistol. I just never used it, never shot with it. But yeah, it's about to be devious, bro. Holy. Imagine we get another pulverizer tier weapon. That would be disgusting.
More of the cool stuff we planned out this year in terms of like looking how much we delivered last year. What can we deliver this year that is exciting and is really fun?
You
More guns is always going to be fun. More
He actually-
options. Yeah.
printed up some pictures.
Look, I wanted to do it. I had some pictures printed out here, and I was going to say, which one do you want to know about, chat?
Okay,
And then,
You do have the close-up.
I'll let
Pick 'em
you.
up.
Yeah. You,
Okay.
Give me one.
Show
you
the
wanna
pictures.
Just give me one.
Okay,
you wanna show.
there's a really dumb. Well,
super-
you know what the top one is, but this
Just
is a
show
hint.
me.
No, over here because we got the close-up
You
camera.
guys-
Okay,
close-up.
okay.
Come and bring it to me. Don't
Go on, then.
Show
drop
me.
your microphone.
I won't. There you are. So there's a hint on the bottom of what it is.
What is it? Show me.
This,
Even got a
this,
hint
this is the picture. Go to the close-up. Go ahead. This is what he brought. So
Bro.
this is I'm assuming
A
a space
rifle.
lever action
Space
Lever action
and
rifle.
some railroad tracks.
And you'll have to figure out what that one is.
What does that look like? Is that a bazooka? No, it's not a bazooka, right? Wait, what's the railroad track one? Oh, space railgun. We have a railgun though. A lever action railgun. No, there's no way. It honestly looks like a bazooka tier weapon, but we already have those. But yeah, it could be a smaller railgun, but I would like, that's not as exciting as I thought it would be if it's a smaller version of a railgun. Okay.
A fence.
No, come back.
Oh, you want me to pick
Okay,
it up?
Jared,
Oh, no,
Jared,
don't
what are
sit
you
down.
doing?
Just go sit down.
Okay.
Sit down.
Jared, no.
Sit down.
He wants to enter the meat here. He's trying to get in.
And that one is stocked, not shouldered as well.
It's okay, so it's stocked. Now I don't know what it is. If it's stocked, I don't know what it is.
Speaking about a MedPen gun, can we have the MedPen automatically switch back to the gun after being injected, like it already happens in Arena Commander?
Yes,
Ooh.
that's one of the options that we do want to add.
Yeah, we need that because
Yeah.
So
in
next
gunfights,
week, or-
having to press the button again is a little bit
Sooner than you
annoying.
hope, but further than you'd expect.
Wow, thank you for that.
Any progress on FPS item wear and tear, like armor
Yes,
tear or
armor
weapon misfire?
durability.
Yes. So in terms of weapon malfunctions and weapon overheating, every single weapon has that in Squadron at the minute. So every
Oh.
single weapon jams, every single weapon, well, the weapons that can overheat do overheat. That is fully implemented in Squadron 42, and it will be coming to the PU in the future.
Nice. Bruh, this is the tech that Chris Roberts kept saying. Once we get Squadron 42 out, everything is coming over. And I was like, what are the tech? He didn't tell us. These guys are telling us. I want that. I need some more things I need some things to think about when I'm using weapons. I want to be not just be shoot, reload, shoot, reload. I want to think about other things as well, you know?
Would it be possible to climb more stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Add more collision meshes.
Basically.
Almost everything should be
There's more to
climbable.
this, like SU boxes, ramps, and elevators.
Yeah, it's
I
all
I
the
thought
fun
this
ledge
person just
markup.
likes to go into the soft play.
It's we want to climb everything. Yes, essentially. A lot of older content still probably won't be able to climb as much, but as we have a much larger level design team now, we are able to make more stuff climbable and also design stuff that's more traversal.
Yeah, I want to be able to climb more
Automated
things.
tools got a lot better.
Because sometimes it's like I want to get a better view of an area. I'm in a hangar or something, or I'm in a Hathor or Onyx, or whatever it is, and I want to get a better view. And I'm like, oh, this box right here looks perfect. If I climb to this box, I'll be able to climb to that box, and I'll have a perfect view. And then it's like, oh, there's no climbing mesh here, so I can't climb. There's no collision. That does get annoying, so I do want to see a lot more climbable things. And I feel like they talked about they were making some tools where if you just put something somewhere, it would put it across everything else in the environment that has the same function. So if you can put a climbing mesh somewhere, it will put it against everything else that has the same object in that vicinity at the same spot if it works, you know?
That's awesome.
Automated cover generation is now a thing. So level designers don't have to go and manually place a couple of points as well.
That was awesome.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
Still
about.
have to double check it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know. Don't turn it all over to the machine like Amazon did.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the status on swimming?
Fully implemented in Squadron 42 will be coming to the PU in the future.
Yes, we're getting swimming. Yo, we can have a pool party in an 80-90 jumps. We can have a pool party. Nobody bring baby oil, but we're having a pool party, gang.
Yes.
How different is FPS and Squad? Yes, he's going for the paper.
Going for the paper. Rich said, don't get in trouble. He's like, I'll allow you to answer this one if you're not going to get in trouble.
And say anything.
Now I've got to find it.
Challenge impossible.
So
Oh, God.
the question is, I'll cover for him while he searches for his paper. How different is FPS
FPS
in
in-
Squadron 42 compared to Star Citizen, and what lessons from polishing there can we expect to come to Star Citizen?
I expect it to be a lot more fluid. I expect it to be so much more fluid, but I also do expect it to be kind of almost locked because it's a story mode game. So I think it might be a little bit locked and it'll be more like tailored to that game. Exactly. So Squadron 42, everything's going to be fluid. There's not going to be any freaking NPCs breakdancing or teleporting. That won't be a thing. Latency wouldn't be a thing. All of that's going to be like, nothing to deal with because it's an offline game, right? So those are the things where it's gonna super outperform Star Citizen in terms of just the combat in the first place.
So there has basically been a lot of work on the player character. So from minor things in terms of like the how actions automate into each other. So we have something called the sprint toggle now, which is the default, which essentially means like if I'm sprinting and I shoot, I have sprint to fire, so I don't start shooting when I'm down here. It comes back up, it's natural, it feels good. Even the new sprint pose, which is like up here, which includes like head bob. All of these things massively improve the...
There's a new sprint mode where you sprint and your gun is up here. Like, yo, that's gonna be sick. So you don't have to do the whole... It's gonna be like right here. Nice.
That you
I like
you
that.
get to, as you play the games. Like previously when we were doing in 2023, when we showed off all the FPS improvements at SitCon, where you think like backpack reloading, you think like ammo repooling and things like that. We're waiting on these things in Squadron and obviously polishing them up for the release. And all of the things that we are working on in Squadron will come to the PU in future. The action matrix is the biggest one. We've got like...
Which I like because, as I've learned, there's going to be 3 different chapters of Squadron. So when I'm thinking about it, it's like, that's 3 different sets of like maybe 5-year increments where we're going to be getting a lot of new tech, a lot of new well-polished things just shifted over because it gives them time to work on something, finalize it, get it very good, and shift over, instead of the fact that we're like what we're doing right now, where we're working on things and implementing them as we go, keep changing and changing and changing. It's going to be more of like you're getting something that's very, very close to a final product, you know?
Loading, we've really been spending a lot of time dialing in that FPS experience and making it feel really polished. And even like sprinting now, like it's a really big thing for me, because the gun goes down here, it goes off screen, you can't see
Yeah,
it.
you can't see
when
it.
it's up here and you feel like you're running and things like that,
know
it just
what you're
feels
holding, yeah.
a lot more polished. It's very nice. It's the FPS experience basically has been dialed in a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I was
there
expecting.
is a bunch of stuff which escapes the top of my head right now. But
You have your notes.
you know, I accidentally deleted the question. I realized.
Oh, you want to come over here?
Yeah, go on.
Come over here.
Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for. Oh, I get to sit in the chair.
Yeah, go sit in the chair.
Guess the
Perfect.
chair.
You've been good. You've been good today.
Are those RSI chairs comfy? Because low key, I need a new chair, and I'm like, if those are actually comfy, like I wouldn't be opposed to getting one. To be honest.
So yeah, as we said, with movement accelerations, melee improvements, that's a big one. So hey, you're not randomly going to go in front of you anymore. It's, you know, there's nicer animations there. How it follows up feels better. Weapons having consistent slots. So for people who have to constantly switch around and do those things, I know it's very annoying, but that is now like, cool, I have weapon 1, I have weapon 2. They have consistent slots. Oh yeah, for example, sprinting and med penning now, if you press sprint, you press your med pen button, your med pen, then you automatically go back
Keep
to sprinting.
sprinting.
So sprint toggle, beautiful. My favorite one, weapon raise 2.0. So as
do you
you know
mean?
right now, if you go up to a surface, you do this.
Oh, yeah, you do that.
We now have a
Oh.
procedural back like that, and it's very, very nice. We've also moved the pushback.
Creme de la creme. Yeah, I hate it. You go close to someone, it just goes. Vroom, vroom, vroom. So now it stops it. It is going to stop me from doing some of the not so legal things I do, but I still take it.
Point to the optic. So for people who want to aim over railings and shoot over railings, you can now do that.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, the FPS experience overall is far more smoother to play. FPS AI has basically been overhauled. Francesco Riccucci and Chris Roberts have been themselves very involved in that process as well. Chris has been very keen on making the AI experience in Squadron, so they've been working very closely together. Entirely new audio setup for guns. The guns sound absolutely amazing. The audio work on them has been incredible. Not just the sound that you hear, but also the mixing. So that's basically how loud
Spatial
shots are,
sounds,
how
yeah.
they feel. So if someone's down the other hallway and they're firing, it sounds like they're down the hallway, and it is honestly gorgeous. And yeah, all of that is planned to come to the persistent universe.
Nice. Nah, that's
Good
gonna
night
be
than you.
good. That's gonna be
Perfect.
good. Man.
Good job, Zach.
Thank you.
Why is the boom tube dealing so much damage?
Okay, this is
We need to nerf it. Okay, this is the first time I'll say we need to nerf them, because at the end of the day, right? Yesterday I was in the Polaris trying to do bounties, and then I saw the new method people are using to rat at OLPs. They're hiding behind these these giant pillars, and they're using the boom tube to kill people who go near. So unexpected players who are going to these OLPs, some of them might not be PvP players. They're being ratted by people hiding behind the pillars, shooting them with a boom tube. That is wrong. In my opinion, that is wrong.
Rich told me to be very careful with this one as well, but I actually do have this one written down because Rich said you can't say, oh, it's not. So why is the boom tube dealing so much damage? Well, basically, as we said, we're going to be looking at balance, we're going to be looking at damage and those things, especially with crafting coming more online, especially with armor coming more online, like you said, with the heavy armor, with the mass resistance and things like that. But the hardest thing with the boom tube, obviously, is the diversity of vehicles in the game. The diversity of the health between a light fighter, a ground vehicle, a heavy vehicle is, you know, it's a complicated game, especially when you mix all those things together. But most importantly, this is something we're looking at. I've already come up with a couple of ideas of what we want to do, like increasing the arming distance. Like there was a clip on Reddit recently where someone just shot it in a ship and the ship blew up because they were raiding on. But yeah, so it's something we're looking at and keeping an eye on. You know, if you take a boom tube into an encounter, you're sacrificing a weapon slot. You're sacrificing the ability to, you know, fight other people, fight other NPCs. So it's a heavy cost versus the reward you get for how slow the projectile is and how much spread it has.
We're also
The projectile is not that slow.
Refactor on the way. Explosions deal damage to actors, because right now an explosion deals 6 times the damage to the player because it hits their head, arms, legs, body. So you have to balance it weirdly, like so that one explosion would do like just 100 damage to that table, but to you would do 600 damage. So it's really hard to balance. So we're making it so that any explosion will do 100 damage to the player. Divided by depends where it hits them, to how much damage they take, and it'll still just do 100 damage to an object.
Is med penning yourself in a down state still a planned feature?
Yes, that is still a planned feature.
Med penning yourself in a down
to move
state?
it to the adrena pen. So basically, if you get downed, you'll enter a down but not out state. That's also fully implemented in Squadron. But Squadron has expensive self-revive pens. It's obviously MMO, single-player game. But yes, so that is still planned. And let me just check my notes, see if there's any other caveats there. But
You'll be an adrena pen for rezzing other players as well.
yes, that's the other bit. You'll need the adrena pen for other people. So you can crawl around on the floor.
We've got a crawling mechanic. Okay, hear me out. You know the way if anyone plays Arc Raiders, you know the way if you get downed, but you're close by to an extraction point, you can basically crawl your way to the extraction point, right? What if in Star Citizen you get downed and you came in a medical ship or a ship that has a medical bed, right? And you can crawl back to your ship before you bleed out, get back into your ship, and then pull yourself back onto the medical bed, and it resuscitates you with like a freaking, defibrillator. And then now you're back alive and it heals you. Insane, because for PvE players, it means if you get downed and you came prepared, you probably won't die. So when the death of a spaceman comes in, you're less likely to die when you're getting downed by NPCs.
Is there anything planned to make something stronger than heavy armor?
Ooh,
Yes.
yes, the mech suit.
Yep.
Super heavy?
Super heavy armor.
And that is not just a new armor set either. That comes with a lot of restrictions, specific weapon classes, and things like that. So
We're getting a super heavy armor set? I like that. I like that.
I think one of the things is you're not going to be able to heal yourself.
Yep.
Oh, you can't heal yourself.
You can have a super heavy weapon.
Yeah.
But you can use other weapons. It'll just be.
Bro, imagine they say super heavy armor and you can use a freaking size 1 laser from a ship. Size 1 NDB. And then just have your heavy medic behind you. Heavy medic behind you at all times. Have your deployable shield ready. So you're just like, oh, I need heals. Drop your shield. Heavy medic behind you heals you up. Take the shield down. Size 1.
Why would you in this extremely restricted thing? It's all about you need the support. Like, because while you're there and you've got the big gun, you're unstoppable. But the moment people start chipping away your health, if you can't pull out that pen and heal yourself, you need a teammate there. Otherwise, you're going to very quickly become vulnerable.
Like a medic archetype of some kind.
That's crazy.
Right.
That pretty much does it.
A medic archetype with a medical bullet. Remember he said he's going to have the medical pistol? So when your Juggernaut is about to die, you shoot him with the medic pistol and he gets healed up.
For today's show, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. See you on Inside Star Citizen next week. Take care. Check out the weekly newsletter.
What's more?
Tomorrow. There's something cool in there too. Bye.
Yeah.